Commission this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to make these comments today. My name is Bruce Burkett. I am the Executive Director of a regional organization called the Mid-Atlantic Renewable Energy Coalition, we call MERIC. MERIC is a 501c3 comprised of a number of leading wind developers, wind turbine manufacturers, service companies, public interest organizations, and a transmission company that support the development of renewable energy in the region. We have wind energy companies that have a strong interest to develop projects in Virginia. While we do not oppose the Remington project and commend the Virginia Electric and Power Company's efforts to construct this renewable energy project to take advantage of the expiring federal tax credits for solar, we strongly support the development of projects like this after they have been subject to a competitive third-party procurement process. Although this project deals with a solar generation facility, a competitive procurement process should be established for other forms of renewable energy generation as well, such as utility-scale wind power. We believe this because such a process has been successful in other jurisdictions for achieving the lowest price for consumers. We probably would not have commented in this case, but chose to do so after review the company's price assumptions for wind energy generation it utilized in its recently filed integrated resource plan in the matter before the commission. It was filed on July the 1st of this year. And that's when we compared this resource against other resources. For onshore wind, Virginia Electric assumed that the cost price would be $161.10 per megawatt hour. That is a highly misinformed assumption and truly is a prime example as why a competitive procurement process needs to be instituted to determine the real price of wind energy and other resources as well, like solar energy. In fact, the Lawrence Berkeley National Labs 2013 National Wind Tech Report tracked wind purchase power agreements and found that in 2013 they reached all-time lows, with an average levelized cost of energy of between $27 and $58 a megawatt hour. In fact, an Appalachian Power Company's recently filed integrated resource plan, also July 1st, it modeled for one of its tranches, a 150 megawatt block of wind resources with a levelized cost of energy of $40 a megawatt hour in 2015 dollars. I note that's a quarter of the price that the Virginia Electric's assumption in its IRP. And that would be including the assumption that the PTC would be included in that. And they also use $63 a megawatt hour in 2017 dollars without the PTC. There is currently discussion in DC as the potential of extending the PTC for a number of years, but obviously what's going on in DC is always up for grabs, I guess, at this point to see what's going on. But all of the prices that APCO provided were dramatically lower than the cost assumptions provided by Virginia Electric in its IRP. Lazard, the asset management company, has concluded that a new wind energy project is price competitive with a new natural gas project. It is also important to note that wind and solar energy prices are stable and known throughout the entire term of the purchase power agreement. That cannot be said for a number of other fuel sources like coal and natural gas, which have had historically volatile price fluctuations. We are basically citing this information to emphasize that the best way to provide accurate information and provide the best pricing to Virginia ratepayers is to establish a competitive RFP process. I want to thank you again for the opportunity to make these comments in this matter.
Thank you for coming down, Mr. Burkett.
Thank you.
We'll step down.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Mr. Bessa.
Thank you so much. My name is Glenn Bessa. I'm the director of the Sierra Club Virginia chapter. The Sierra Club supports this project and urges its approval. But going forward, we believe that the Commission needs to push Dominion push them hard to rely on power purchase agreements and a competitive RFP process for solar and wind. From the ratepayer's viewpoint, developers have three advantages over utilities. They are experts at what they're doing, they work on similar profit margins, and they get better tax treatment under the IRS code. Dominion loses all three advantages if it builds future solar farms like it's building Remington. Dominion has already demonstrated its lack of solar know-how. In May 7, 2013, filing with the SEC, they admitted that the Solar Partnership Program, which puts solar on commercial rooftops, was a year behind schedule and would probably be less than 20 megawatts of the 30 megawatts authorized. Previously, the company had told stakeholders that it would likely hit the $80 million budget for this project with only 13 to 14 megawatts of solar installed. We see the same problems with the offshore wind project, the 12 megawatt project that has come in extremely overpriced relative to Dominion's, the way they approached it. As for profit margins, Dominion gets a guaranteed 10% return on its investment, and this explains its desire to build solar itself. But it's hard to justify charging ratepayers a 10% premium when there are cheaper alternatives courtesy of the free market. Unlike Dominion, solar developers have to compete against each other, so they accept much slimmer profit margins. And then there are the tax implications. A third-party developer can claim the federal 30% tax credit immediately, and they can accelerate the depreciation on the cost of the facility over 5 years. The utility has to take the tax credit and the depreciation over the expected life of the facility, 20 years or more. And even if Dominion were to build Remington at the same cost as a third-party developer, same price that a third-party developer could, the difference in this tax treatment could still allow a third-party developer to build it for less. These three factors, know-how, free market cost competition, and tax implications add up to huge savings for consumers if in the future projects are bid out to third-party developers. With the approach that Dominion is taking, we do not see how Dominion can get to the 400 megawatts that they've pledged by 2020. Additionally, the legislature set a goal of 500 megawatts by 2020. We're not sure how we're going to get there either with the resistance that Dominion typically shows to solar projects, refusing to buy the power from independent developers. I think what's also important to recognize is that if by 2020 we do have 400 or 500 megawatts of solar, we're going to be further behind, not ahead of other states, because states like North Carolina, for example, are building 300 megawatts a year, and we're talking about 400 to 500 megawatts between now and 2020. We will be further behind. This is really important for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is fuel diversity. We hear a lot about fuel diversity and the fuel mix that we have in Virginia. Right now, Dominion seems to be relying overly on gas and nuclear. We know for sure that gas has historically been extremely volatile in its price, and we should fully expect the price of gas to rise as well as we impose a cost on carbon beyond the Clean Power Plan that the EPA will be rolling out. We fully expect to see limitations on carbon in future years as this country addresses climate change. It's inevitable. So in conclusion, let me just say that the Circle Club does support this project, but going forward, we think it's really important to have a competitive RFP process for future solar and wind projects in Virginia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Best.
Good morning, Your Honor, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I have a brief statement based on a background as a small developer and solar contractor, and it is in support of Dominion Virginia Power's renewable energy. However, we'd like the court to pay close attention to how they proceed in the future and other items, and I'll be brief here. Currently, we have residential, commercial, and industrial projects under development for the tune of 1.02 gigawatts. We've had little to no contact with Dominion Virginia Power, nor have we been able to get someone within their interconnectability department to speak to us. Future projects hold 614 gigawatts of solar farms in the state of Virginia. And it's, to my knowledge, Dominion Virginia Power has published several statements that they intend to invest $700 million in solar energy across the state. How is that possible before the deadline? I'm not sure, simply put. More to the point, how does solar affect the rate of Virginia? Will larger projects create a cheaper cost of installation, less expense of overhead and maintenance. Future renewability provides for a higher return on investment. And I see these numbers day in and day out doing pro formas for small business opportunities. Even the state is aware of this. One state agency, the Virginia Department P3, has been in possession of an unsolicited proposal for more than almost 2 years now that desires development across statewide public projects of over 1,000 sites that they themselves published. The unsolicited proposal covered 300 sites. This unsolicited proposal possessed a value of hundreds of millions of dollars and tens of thousands of jobs. What has happened to it is unknown at this point. However, there was a direct statement from the P3 department that they had put it to the bottom of the pile. As a small private business owner and a lifelong citizen that supports solar, I also support Francis Hudsol's statement and the MDV SEIA, of which I'm a member. Interconnection is the only request I would hope the court would pay close attention to. As it stands right now, there's simply an address, no comment, no department, no phone number, no person attached to this on the private sector. Now, it's clear that it makes it easier for Dominion to follow through on their projects rather than the private sector to follow through on theirs. However, I'm a supporter of Dominion and have had many good experiences through their efforts. I would just like transparency through what it is that they're producing now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McCracken. Before you step down, could you provide your address for the record?
Certainly. 7717 Comanche Drive, Richmond, Virginia, 23225.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor,
Yes, certainly.
sir, I heard you say that you are a member of SEIA, the Solar Energy Industries Association, but I don't think I caught your business.
We are a small contractor and solar developer. The name of the business is the acronym is HRD Inc. The full name is Historic Resources Documentation Inc. We've been a Class A contractor for more than 20 years in Virginia.
Okay, and so your business has, you said, 1.2 gigawatts of solar under development?
Correct. Right now. And
you said you tried to call people at Dominion, but they wouldn't call you back about purchasing energy from your projects. Is that what?
That's correct.
Okay.
I filed paperwork and I haven't heard from them, nor have I received any information on the feedback.
Okay, but you would have been willing to talk to them about, maybe entering into a contract to sell your energy to Dominion.
Most certainly.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr.